when you're looking at AI as a whole, do you see AI eventually replacing like certain roles in the workforce? Do you see that right now, or do you think it's always going to be something that's more augmentation for what's like human talent?
So I think it will be replacing certain roles. And I think it's going to be both. But let me give like an analogy for the way that I think about AI and what AI is going to be. AI is a very powerful tool, but this tool will take over a, a lot of roles. But I don't think it's going to minimize the number of jobs. In fact, I think it's going to create more demand for jobs. And if we look at history and if we see like whenever there's these great revolutions or these great things that have happened, like the Industrial Revolution or what have you, it creates like this compounding effect. An example, like in our more recent past that we can all think about, is like when Microsoft Excel was invented. There was actually a lot of hysteria going on at the time, going, oh my gosh, there's going to be no need for bookkeepers anymore. There's going to be no need for accountants. There's going to be no need for basically people that did these like manual ledger processes. And in the past, before Excel, if you were really good at like doing quick math in your head, if you were really good about being very detail oriented, you tended to be a better bookkeeper or a better accountant. But now you're given this tool that's doing all of this stuff for you. And fast forward to today, to 2025, many decades after Excel first came to the scene, we have an accounting shortage. There is more demand for accountants now than ever before. There's a bookkeeping shortage. And the reason being is Excel is a tool that allowed us to do more. It allowed accountants to service more businesses. It allowed bookkeepers to do more. And so it changed their role and it changed what was important about their role. And so now all of a sudden, the people that could do quick math in their head, yeah, maybe that's like a useful tool, but what's a better tool is if you could be elevated to be more of like a strategic accountant to come through and think through different tax strategies. And so accountants, they had to upskill, they had to adapt, they had to learn how to use it in a way that they became more in demand and more important with the companies that they helped and they service. And I see AI very similar. AI is a massively powerful tool. And Frank and I, when we look to the future, 5 years from now, whenever that time is, where all of a sudden coding becomes obsolete, which like I do believe it will be. There will be a day where you can just talk to AI as if it is another developer, and there's inputs and there's outputs, and you'll be receiving, you will be able, anybody with like creativity can build the software of their dreams, which to me means that there's just going to be more creation, more companies, more jobs, more needs, but there still will be the need for software developers, but a different type of software developer, one that's going to be more of a strategic over, like we like to call them like mini CTOs, or someone who knows how to communicate really well with the AI coder. And it will augment, it will take away jobs, but it's just going to change jobs. It's going to change jobs for like how we see it today. Another great example of what it's doing right now, even for me, is if I had any kind of legal question or I had a question about contracts, I have to deal with MSAs all the time and people will bring things back to me all the time. And I really hate legal jargon. It like makes me very insecure because I feel like people are always trying to trick you or gotcha, right? And so where I used to have to pay my lawyer $700 an hour to answer simple questions just because I was nervous about the language, I can now run it through something like ChatGPT and be like, hey, explain this to me in simple terms. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to avoid? What are they trying to? And then I go to my lawyer, I'm still using my lawyer, and I say, hey, this is what this is saying. This is what they want. This is what we as a company want to achieve. And then my lawyer can do the thing that they're good at, which is defend our company, defend our contracts, defend our purpose, rather than having to spend all this time explaining things to me. So I
Mhm.
at least am caught up to speed so that we can now have a conversation where we're on the same level. That's where I see this going, and it's only going to go like there in a massive scale. But I see this from an exciting standpoint because it's going to give access for the ability for everyone to be creators. And that is just so awesome.